Because we made contact. Watch it out, like this with that, baby. You know, and I know that I'm in the right position. Focus on the white light, the local mission. My oh my, the fuck you got, bring back the right, feel that thing of the night. Instead of one time, I'll say it again, contact. Then they will listen again. Girl, say you are you, if I don't follow you. Hey, girl, say you and me, say we're meant to be.
That's not working. Oops. All right, well, that's not working, so heck with it. All right.
Good old technology. Gotta love it.
Good old technology. I think if, I don't know why that didn't work. But how you guys doing?
Doing pretty good.
Good.
All right. I want to welcome everybody to the live stream tonight. I am Game Vet. You have my buddy Wally and our friend Zach. Dicast Mansur. How you doing, guys?
Doing pretty
Good.
Good. Yeah, I want to thank you guys for coming in. I also wanted to thank all the new subs I got. I noticed I have a bunch of new subs, and I wanted to thank you guys for showing up and supporting the channel. It's awesome. So with that said, Zach, I was wondering if you had any questions for us about our things that we've seen.
Well, I remember watching it on GoofOn, and I was kind of wondering. I don't remember if you said it. What color was the light that you saw?
Oh, on 93 there?
Yeah.
That was a bright, really bright white light. Almost brighter. It was like brighter than a white LED light.
Right. Huh. Well, I mean, I asked because I'll go ahead and tell you this little story.
Sure.
My daughter and I, she's 12, just turned 12. Here in Oklahoma, it doesn't snow very much, but when it does, it's kind of a big deal. We were outside making snowmen and stuff like that.
Okay.
But it was probably like 11 at night or so. You know, we were up really late. It just started snowing that night. And we went outside making snowballs, throwing them at each other, blah, blah, blah. And out of nowhere, it was like somebody just turned a light switch on, but it was like just a blue light. And it wasn't like a flash, so it wasn't weird lightning, you know, in a snowstorm, you know, in the clouds or anything. Because it was bright but blue and stayed on for probably, I don't know, like 4 seconds, which seemed like a long time, you know, just to be on, you know. And it wasn't like getting bright and dim or anything. It was just on, you know, and then went off, but it was blue. And me and my daughter just kind of looked at each other like, huh, okay. And it went back to normal, you know, and we got kind of freaked out by it. I mean, it was kind of scary, you know. We went inside and we went back outside, you know. It was weird. It was really weird.
So if you don't mind me asking, so where were you guys? Were you guys in a field or were you
right outside in the parking lot of our apartments that we live in.
Okay.
So, and there's no blue street light out there. There's you know, I've never seen it before or since.
So how far do you think you were away from it?
Well, that's the thing. Like the whole area. I mean, like the whole sky, the whole area
Gotcha.
was lit up.
Okay.
You know,
Nice.
that's why I was like, I mean, maybe that was some kind of weird snowstorm lightning or something, but it didn't seem like that. It was blue.
So it was just really blue, like dark blue?
It was kind of just I don't know. I mean, like somebody turned on a blue light bulb, you know.
Okay.
And
sure.
It was just on for like I said, like 4 seconds, you know, just consistent.
Okay.
Didn't get brighter, just was on. For a while. I mean, 4 seconds or so doesn't seem long, but for something like that, it was kind of a long time, long enough to look at each other and go, okay.
So now, when this turned on, did it slowly turn on like a?
No, I mean, it was literally like somebody flicked on a light switch.
Okay.
And it was just on, and it was on long enough for us to look at each other and be like, we could see each other really well. It was bright blue. We were like,
yeah,
okay.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
I know, and it went off, and like I said, we were actually kind of scared by it. I mean, it gave us a really weird, eerie feeling, and we went back inside. So that was the end of that. But that's kind of along the same lines of what you guys saw.
Right. Yeah. Like Wally, what did you? What was your first take when we were in that tent and we saw that white light turn on?
I got scared.
Yeah, you got like when it first turned on. What were your thoughts? I mean, I know I was froze.
Me too. But what really got me though is whatever was screaming at the end of your driveway.
Right.
That's what got me.
Yeah.
It's like
And
that
that's
was something I
thing.
never heard of before.
Yeah. I was gonna pull that sound up, and I don't have it right now. I could probably pull it up on my phone when Zach talks about his other story here. But I do want to say hi to everybody in chat right now. I see we got all our buddies out here. We have Gutter Gawker. What's up, man? Dark Hour Paranormal. Sorry, I'm gonna try not to have my stream cut off. It's all good, buddy. We love you over here. We have Gutter, Dark Hour. We have Rick's Realms. How you doing, man? You got your snacks? I just want to make sure you got your snacks. I just had some. I had some Ruffles chips. Those are good. Now, you know what? I wanted to special thank Taco Bell for still having the chili cheese burritos. Those are awesome. Still full from that. And then we got, who else? Dark Hour Gutter. Green Man's in the house tonight. We have Dre from UFO Buster Radio Network. The Norm is here. And who else we got here? I think that might be it for now. But that's okay. We might have other people showing up. I appreciate you guys showing up in chat with us and partying it up. Yeah, I just want to make sure you have your snacks and stuff like that. So this is Zach. I call him Zach Dicast. He's been in the chat rooms with Richie G, and he goes to all the stuff we go to. And he's a really cool guy. I think I know what I did wrong. So if you guys want to know a little bit about Zach here, let me pull this up and try to work on this again. I don't know if I can do this. We'll see here. Oops. This. All right, here we go. So this is Zach. Play a little music.
Mind over matter, strictly contact is inevitable. We're unstoppable. Mind over matter, strictly contact with the times that we give when we must attack. Mind over matter, strictly contact is inevitable. We're unstoppable.
I think I just saw a Knight Rider car in there. That is awesome. That is one heck of a collection.
It keeps going and going.
That is so sweet, man. I know you.
From wall to floor.
Wally and I, we both collect Hot Wheels and different cars and stuff like that. And I thought, when I first met Wally, I thought, man, you have one hell of a collection, because his room looked like that. Both walls were covered in Hot Wheels. His door was covered in Hot Wheels.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, I got to see the rest of it, the 360 degrees around this room here. And I was just floored. I'm like, holy cow, he's got more of an obsession than I do. I thought I was bad, you know.
1988. So it's been collecting for a while.
That is
As
cool.
you can see.
That is just awesome, though. It really is.
Thanks. Yeah, I love them. I don't know what it is about them. I can't get enough of them.
Yeah, that's cool, man. It really is. All right, so okay, so let's see here. Did you guys okay, well, let's just go ahead and jump to Zach again here. Okay, I've been waiting for this all week. I'm hyped about this story. I think you guys are all hyped about it too, because that's all I've been talking about. So Zach, go ahead and tell me your story, and I want to sit back, and I wish Richie G were here because I wanted to do this so bad in front of him, but he's not here yet. So, Rich, this one's for you, buddy. Yeah. That's from UFO Buster. What the heck's his name? UFO Jesus. He does that. Anyway, all right. Go ahead, Zach.
This is a fancy IPA. No.
Yeah, right.
Well, I'll start back in the mid 90s or so. I was just getting into high school. I was kind of a punk rocker, still am really, but mohawks, leather jackets, studs and stuff. I've been playing drums since longer than I've been collecting diecast, so I was always in punk rock bands and stuff like that since like age 11, Well, I hadn't been playing for a while, and I kind of was just not doing it for a while until I was about a sophomore in high school, and this was like 98, and I actually put an ad in the newspaper, like in the classified ads, which is really weird, to to be a drummer in somebody's punk rock band. I named off like influences and stuff like that, and later that year, actually, I got a response from a girl that was in my grade at my school and said that she knew some guys at the other high school here in town that were looking for a drummer. So I was like, sweet, okay. So we got together. We became the band Snot Rockets. You can look us up on YouTube. We're not grandpa's punk rock. We're kind of thrash metal, super fast, screamy stuff,
Sweet.
Anyways, we played shows forever around here. I mean, we were a band for like 20 years. And anyways, the guitar player, we became best friends. He actually died in February this year. It wasn't COVID, but he died of, they say pneumonia, but I haven't talked to his parents again, so I don't know what the final diagnosis was. Anyways, that's a different story. And that I still get kind of choked up about that one.
Yeah.
Anyways, we were, best friends forever, and my bass player, he was also a good friend of ours. The three of us became best friends. Well, one day we were gonna practice, play music at Aaron, the guitar player's house, like we always did. And earlier I was trying to think of like the timeline on this, because we got, the band formed like in late 98, but I remember when this happened, it was warm outside, so I think it might have been in 99, like kind of when the weather got a little bit warmer outside, because we were outside. But anyways, we went to go pick Matt up, the bass player. Went to go pick him up at these apartments kind of on the south side of town, and we were sitting kind of like there was a park in front of his apartments that had like big toys and stuff like that, and we were sitting on the big toys, and we arrived when it was daylight outside. Okay, it was daylight, and you know, I don't know if this is because it's 21 years ago or what, but the timeline of that night in particular is real fuzzy, and you'll find out why. We were sitting there waiting on Matt to come out of his apartment so we could go and practice. And it was daylight, and I don't know what time it was, but I don't know. It was early evening, if I had to guess. And he was taking forever. So my memory goes, he was taking forever to come out, and yeah, me and Aaron weren't really talking much, as far as I can remember, we weren't talking much at all. And this is where in my memory it kind of jumps, and the sun is like down, basically. I mean, like down, not sunset. I mean, it's getting dark, but there's still kind of some light on the horizon. And we're sitting there. I don't know if we're talking. I don't know. And I hear an airplane. Now, I live in a college town south of Oklahoma City, pretty well known one. I don't really know if I want to tell everybody where I live, but you can probably guess. South of Oklahoma City. There's like a small airport here where little Cessna airplanes and commuter planes and stuff go in and out all the time. So there's always airplanes in the sky. So I didn't think anything of it. I'm not like, whoa, airplanes. So I hear the rumbling of an airplane. And again, I didn't look up at it. I didn't care. And after a while, I noticed that the sound of the airplane wasn't going anywhere. It just wasn't moving. How you would hear, the Doppler effect of an airplane going by, be like, no. But this is just sitting there like, brrr. And so I finally had the wherewithal to look up, and I couldn't see it anywhere around me. So I looked straight up, and here is this Cessna airplane. Okay, I mean, I didn't see a UFO, nothing. I saw a Cessna airplane, like a small airplane. I don't know if it's a Cessna, but a small airplane sitting there, and it's just bright enough outside to where I can see the silhouette of it. And mind you, this thing's probably about, if I had to guess, like 500 feet above me, and it looked like an airplane. It was just bright enough to where I could see kind of the silhouette, and I could see wings, and I remember seeing the red and blue flashing, blinking lights on the wings and on the tail area, whatever. It didn't look like a UFO, whatever a UFO looks like. I wasn't interested in UFOs back then. I liked space stuff, but I wasn't thinking about UFOs. I didn't really care. But here's where it gets really weird. So I still didn't say a word about this thing for some reason. It wasn't a helicopter. You know the difference between a helicopter and a plane or a drone. It's 99. There's no drones in the air. So I see this airplane. Okay, and it's 500 feet above me, not moving whatsoever. It's not even swaying around. I mean, it's locked.
It's just sitting there, and then you're basically standing in one spot. You're not moving either, right?
No, I'm sitting on the big toy in the park with Aaron. Like I said, I don't know if we were having a conversation. I don't know, but I don't remember saying anything at all. And actually, when I saw the airplane hovering locked above me, still didn't say a word, not a word, and didn't say a word about it for, like I said earlier, I was trying to think of the timeline here. I didn't say a word about it for probably 12 years. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this Aaron, the poker player, he's my best friend. We played poker games at his house every Wednesday and Sunday religiously for years. I mean, probably 6 or 7 years straight there for a while until I had my daughter and stuff. And even after my daughter was born, I would still go over there pretty regularly to play these games. And I remember Ancient Aliens started coming out, and I did start to get kind of interested in UFOs and stuff. And I still didn't think back onto the story at all, you know, for a long time. I mean, for a few years of that show being out, and then finally dawned on me. I was like, man, that time I saw whatever that plane sitting above me, that was kind of weird. I'm gonna ask Aaron about that. So the next time I played poker at his house, we were all sitting, you know, there was like 8 of us at the table, all good friends and stuff. And I was sitting there, and I remembered, you know, about the incidents, and I wanted to ask him. I was like, "Hey, remember that time we were waiting on Matt to come out, and we were gonna go practice?" And I figured he'd be like, you know, "Okay, what time?" You know, no. And I was like, "Remember that time we were waiting on him?" And I don't know if you saw it, but I remember like an airplane like sitting above us. Do you remember anything like that? And he looked at me and he goes, "No." I remember when we were sitting out there and a UFO came and shot right above us. And as soon as we both looked up at it, this thing, he said all he saw was just a ball of light. And he said as soon as we looked up, he had enough time to just see that it was light. And this thing goes boom. Just, he said it was a mile away in a second on the south side of town. And he said he saw that same light sitting there on the south side of town, and it was just gone. He didn't see where it went. It was just gone. And he said the whole thing lasted literally that long. Like, it went boop, looked up and boom, looked over, saw it, and it's gone. But for me, it was like some, you know, what seemed like hours long ordeal. You know, I mean, the time that I saw the airplane seemed like 15 minutes of this thing sitting there, you know.
So did you have any loss of time at all, or?
See, that's the weird part, is that, you know, when I think back on it, you know, I must have, or he did, you know. I mean, maybe I'm the one that saw everything for what it was, or, you know, I don't know. That
So
that's
this is
what I'm
all
still trying to figure out, and will never figure out, you know. So
okay. So this was all in the same day. So you saw, right? It was all in the same day, where you saw the plane, and you swear the plane was sitting there for a long length of time.
yeah, probably it seemed like 10 or 15 minutes. But like I said, we got out there and it was daylight, like bright. I mean, the sun was high, and we were only going to be out there waiting for Matt for, you know, it should have been 10 minutes at the most, you know, and we were just waiting for him to come out so we could leave. But it was dark by the time I saw this airplane sitting above me. And Aaron said we got there and it was nighttime. But you know, yeah, it was 21 years ago, but I remember for a fact that day we got there and it was bright, like really bright outside, and that we'd been sitting there for what seemed like hours, man. I mean, it seemed like a long time. And then the episode with the airplane above me, I could hear the noise for minutes. I mean, probably 10 minutes it seemed like before I ever even thought about looking up to see where this thing was. When I looked up, I saw the airplane. You know, till to this day, I saw an airplane. You know, I never saw a UFO. I saw an airplane hovering.
Right. But then, yeah, then the other guy saw that light.
Yeah, he saw something completely different. Completely
So
different.
did the plane? Okay, so did the plane actually turn into the light, or did you lose sight of the plane? What happened to the plane after?
See, that's where it gets fuzzy. The time, you know, like you said, am I missing time? I don't know, because I don't remember leaving that park. Okay, yeah, it was 2 years ago, but I don't remember leaving the park. I don't remember the plane going away. I mean, literally, what I told you of the story is the only things that I remember.
That is so bizarre.
Yeah,
It really is. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the weird thing to me though is how I could have let over a decade of time pass before I ever even mentioned it to Aaron. You know, and when I did, he knew what I was talking about. But I guess to him, it was a full-fledged UFO sighting. You know, that lasted a couple seconds, but wasn't.
So yeah. So my thought is, do you remember anything after that sighting? Do you remember, like, you know, going out and shooting pool afterwards or doing anything afterwards?
Well, supposedly we went to Aaron's house and played music, but I don't even remember that. I really don't. You know.
Huh. Yeah, that's crazy.
21 years ago. I don't remember every single night, every day of things that I did, but after that night, or you know, that night, that's the only things that I remember from that whole day and night is that.
Yeah.
And you know, I've heard other stories similar of you know, people seeing something that the other person doesn't see, you know, or something cloaked or you know whatever, but this wasn't hidden from sight or anything. It just looked like something else to me and something else to him, and the timelines were different for me and for him, and it's just totally bizarre, you know.
Yeah, man, that's yeah. I don't get it. That's messed up.
It is.
So then you said your buddy. Now, where was your buddy that saw just a light? How far away was he versus where you were?
I remember he was sitting on the same big toy game that I was sitting on. I mean, he was like 10 feet away. Probably.
Okay, so he saw something totally different than what you saw.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He saw a light, and then when the light was gone, basically the plane was gone, and that was it.
See, that's. I mean, it must have. But that's his memory of it compared to my memory of it. You know, he saw the light shoot and catch his eye. He saw it shoot from wherever, I guess, from the north, right above us. You know, and I'm assuming at the same spot that the plane was at. I was seeing, and he said just as soon as he said that we both looked up at it. He even said that I reacted to it and was like saying stuff with him. You know, he didn't remember, but he said that I was like talking about it with them. I don't remember any of that. I just, you know, I saw an airplane, and my memory of it was I wasn't saying a damn word about it, you know. But
So
this light shot above us. We looked up at it, and as soon as we looked up at it, it was just boom and gone in the same direction. You know, going in the same direction to the south. And he said he looked over, and that thing was a mile away already, you know, in a second, and it was just sitting there, not moving. And he said it was just blank gone. You know, it didn't move again. It was just gone.
So my thought is, I wonder if whatever that light was, if it came by right above you, picked up whatever that plane thing was, picked it up somehow, and then just took off.
Right.
Because in my experience, I've actually seen like I was talking about that black dot I saw, and I've actually seen it turn and almost expand, and actually seen something come like on like it wasn't there, and then it had like a cloaking technology or something where I saw some of the fuselage or whatever of it.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it just went. It just disappeared again. I almost wonder if whatever that light was actually bigger than what was visible.
Right.
Came by, and then whatever the plane was, it was trying to act like it looked like a plane, but it really wasn't.
With you on that. That's the only thing I can think of is that it was trying to look like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, obviously it wasn't
Right.
an airplane because they don't hover.
So I know Gutter here. He's in chat, and I'm sure you know Gutter very well. Which like we all do.
Yeah.
He's captured some UFOs that have actually changed shapes, and they were flying through the air and changing shapes and doing all this weird stuff where it looks like it's circled. All of a sudden it's like Play-Doh, it'll just change different forms and stuff like that. And I almost wonder if whatever that plane was, it kind of morphed into, it was trying to make itself look like something familiar to you, but it really wasn't. It was like saying, "Hey, look, I'm a plane, but I'm really not."
Right. And why to me? Because friend Aaron, he didn't see an airplane anywhere, and the whole instance lasted 2 seconds to him. But like I said, the thing lasted what seemed like could have been a couple hours, for the whole time that we were out there. But the time the plane was above me, probably 15 minutes, a lot longer than 2 seconds. So
Dark Hour has a question here. I posted up. He says, "Do any of you think sacred geometry was involved in the movement of these crafts? 90-degree turns, things like that."
I'd have to have a video and triangulate directions from, I have no idea. It's a good question though, man. I mean, I think there's something to that. I don't know, like ley lines and stuff, energetic around the earth,
Green Man was just saying maybe it's just your brain trying to make sense of what he was seeing. That could be true too.
Right.
Your brain just didn't know what the hell, what you were looking at, and then it was thinking, okay, well, the closest thing I can think of is a plane.
Right. And especially living in a town where you see those kind of airplanes in the sky. I mean, there can be 5 of them in the sky at any given time, so.
Right. And then Chuck Bam, he's wondering what the UFO angle was when you were looking up and you saw the plane or the light go by. Which direction was it?
Aaron was saying that the light came. It had to have been from where it ended up. It had to have been coming from north to northwest, going south to southeast, because it ended up. He said it came in a straight line basically, and ended up over the city dump, which is on kind of the south central east part of town over
here. Okay.
So from the north is all I can think of. But actually what I saw, the airplane, and this is really weird that I can remember this much, but I remember the nose of this airplane was pointed west. If that makes any sense, because I mean I can remember exactly where we were sitting, and I remember looking up at this thing, and the nose of it was pointed west. So, and I can't tell you which way the wind was blowing. It was, I have no idea, but wouldn't have mattered which way the wind was going. It was sitting there, just locked in place. Like I said, it wasn't swaying in the air, it wasn't kind of bouncing up and down like a helicopter or a plane or a balloon. It was like, I mean, it was really like locked in place, not budging, just locked.
Okay. Yeah, because I know when I sent my my sighting to MUFON, that black dot I saw, the guy the guy that I was talking to on the phone, I asked him if he actually had any UFO sightings personally. Excuse me. And what he said is he saw a UFO that actually looked like a plane. Same thing, basically, what you saw, but he said the plane was actually flying backwards. So the tail was actually going in route of the plane, flying forwards.
Wow.
So that's where that's where I say wow, because after hearing that story and then hearing this, is it's actually sitting in one spot. I mean, I do feel that it is actually legit.
That's pretty strange. I've never heard another airplane / UFO story in my life, so I thought I had something real unique here, but it was a weird one, man. I mean, like I said, that's not super crazy. I've always thought about, like, man, if I had like money or something, I would go pay someone to like hypnotize me and ask what happened that night. I'm kind of curious, did I get picked up by this thing or something? Why did this whole experience last, hours that in my perception, and then 2 seconds to Aaron's? I just want to know, and at the same time, maybe I don't want to know, but
right.
I'm sorry. with that hypnotizing stuff, man. I think that it can work, but I think that also you can feed suggestions into your own brain. I think if you let it sit there and fester, and you're thinking about that story all the time in different scenarios, I think once you go to get hypnotized, and dig these memories out, who knows what memories you're giving them? Are you giving them, theories and stuff you've been thinking about for the last 21 years, or the real story?
Right. Yeah, that's nuts.
Hold on. No. For some reason, hold on. I need to take a drink. For some reason, telling that story gets my anxiety through the damn roof, man. I was telling my daughter this morning that I was going to be on YouTube, to tell my UFO story, and she goes, "What UFO story?" I thought I'd told her. She goes, "What UFO story?" And so I tell her, and this is my own daughter. You'd think that I could tell her the story and keep my cool. But man, I mean, the same thing was happening. I was telling her, and man, I mean, I would just get this lump in my throat. I'm sweating, just everything's heightened. Like right now, I mean, like I said, I've been playing punk rock music in front of people for years, most of my life. I can handle a crowd. I can handle being in front of people, talking in front of people.
Right.
For some reason, this story, it gets me every time. Anybody I've ever told it to, I almost have to stop telling it. I mean, I just get all.
Right. No, I totally get it. Chuck Bam here brought up something really interesting in chat, and this is what I've experienced personally. But he asked if you've experienced any paranormal activity after this sighting.
Okay, well, if you've got a little bit, I wouldn't really say, like, I don't like anything that pertains to the story, but both before and after growing up, I've had some paranormal experiences, and I can kind of get into one later. It's kind of a Ouija board story that doesn't involve a Ouija board. Okay, but on with this though. For some reason, like I said, Aaron died in February. I had a dream of him the night before. I don't dream of Aaron. I don't have dreams about people usually, but I had a dream about him the night before he died. And it's happened before. I didn't know he was going to die or anything. When I found out the next day, I was shocked as anybody. But in the past, I remember in high school, and actually this might have been it was after the UFO thing. or the airplane thing, to me. In high school, I had two friends die in a car wreck, and they weren't super close friends of mine at all. I mean, I knew them fairly well. They were in another band that we played with, and we worked together, briefly, but they weren't like my best friends or anything. Well, I remember that night. I guess when I think back on it, it had to have been like while they were in the wreck, or right before or after. I don't know, but it was around the same time. It had to have been. But I was asleep that night, obviously to have a dream. But I dreamt that I was sitting on one of them, hurting the ribs. He was like, "Get off my ribs," and I was breaking his ribs. Like, you know how abstract dreams. I'm crunching his ribs in this dream. It's super just visceral, and I mean, it seems so real too. And I didn't really even think about it the next day when I found out that him and another friend had died. He was the only one in the dream, but I found out that him and another one of our friends that was with him died in a car wreck. And it I never really thought about it that much, but it was just weird because I'd never dreamt about him before or since, and it was super realistic and vivid. And then it's only happened a few times like that. And then I dreamt about my mom, but only after she had died. But she was in my dream, it's just smiling at me, just with a huge smile, didn't say a word, just everything else in my dream was making noises. I think people were in it. We were talking, but my mom was always off in the corner, just smiling, not saying a word, and she seemed so real in the dream, so real. I don't know what to make of it. But then this happens with Aaron before he died. I mean, the night before he died the next morning. That night, he's in my dream, and actually, it's weird because we were in my dream. We were supposed to be playing a show, a punk show, which we hadn't done in about 6 or 7 years. We had been away from it for a while at this point. He died back in just this February. He in my dream, we were supposed to play a show, and it was weird. I mean, everybody else, we were interacting and stuff, but when I think back in the dream, Aaron really wasn't. Aaron was dead silent, and he was always looking at me, and things that I was doing, he was really attentive of anything I was doing in the dream, which was weird. It was weird. So really, that besides the Ouija board thing, that's the only thing close to paranormal I've ever been involved in, besides the UFO thing.
Okay. Wally, do you need some wake-up pills or something?
No.
Wally works hard all day long. He's a good hard worker like me.
I think all of us are, man. I work 60 hours a week.
Yeah.
Doing concrete, so
yeah, work sucks.
Bedtime, man. It's late. It's late for me. I'm good. I'm hanging out. But.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. What do you? I mean, I got to ask this question. I have to ask it for you. Do you think the paranormal and UFOs are kind of together in some way or related?
Oh yeah. I mean, 100%. I've heard people say, or actually, I think I heard Rich on Groupon say he thought that ghosts and UFOs are one and the same thing. I'm not in that school of thought, but
yeah,
who knows? Who knows what they can do and what they're doing? Whoever they are, aliens or us from the future. I don't fucking know. But
right.
I definitely think that there's some linkage there for sure. So.
Yeah, because I honestly think that with my experience, after Wally and I saw that light that night and back in '93, that whatever ghost I have now is from when that happened. Because I can remember, yeah, because I can remember I never had any issues until after that happened. And I actually have this sound. I found your Skinwalker Squatch sound, Chuck Bam, so get your ears ready. This is actually what we heard after the lights, okay? Here it comes. Okay, let me do that again. Hear how it goes.
Yeah, that's wicked, man.
Yeah.
Jeez. So what is that recording?
Huh?
What is that recording? Like
That
what is
that? It's called Skinwalker Scream audio clip. I found that on YouTube a while back.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago. I played that to Wally, and because that's every time we see each other, we don't see each other all the time. He's in a different town than I am, and it's basically every time I see him. I haven't seen him in a month or 2 months or something like that. But every time we get together, that's the first thing we talk about. Every single time we see each other is that damn scream. And then once I found that clip, I called him up. I said, "You got to listen to this." I played it on the phone, and he says, "Oh my God, that's the sound." Didn't you, Wally?
Yeah, and that gave me goosebumps that night, and Greg and I did not go to bed at all.
Yeah.
Up all night trying to figure out what that noise was, and then we thought about going down to the end of the driveway, but that's a big driveway, so
Yeah.
it's really
The
really
driveway
super
was
long.
probably about a quarter mile long.
So we weren't gonna go down that thing.
Dark Hour says, "Holy hell, game vet." Yeah, that is that is the most insane sound I've ever heard in my life. And it started off, it sounded like a girl scream at first, kind of like a little girl would just but then the tone went up higher, like
Right.
It's ridiculous. We actually heard the grunting first and then the scream, so it was like this, and then it went to this. It's just ridiculous.
So did it sound like it was like disembodied or like right above you or out in the woods? What did it
sounded? It sounded like it was right down the road from where we were, right down the driveway.
So you could kind of get a sense of direction of where it was.
They're like right at the less than a quarter mile away. On the.
Huh. I was just wondering. I saw actually on YouTube not that long ago. Screams over Texas, I guess, during a storm. And later, some official statement came out that it was, that was a valve letting on. The valve would have had to have been like up in the sky and amplified by 1,000,000. I mean, check it out on YouTube, but it's like it screams over Texas or something like that. If you type that in, I'm sure you'll find it. But if during a storm, and I mean these screams are just going off. I mean they're way up in the air. It's screaming.
Okay,
like,
are those like the trumpets?
It's along the same line, but it's not. Go check it out, man. It's like
I might have
it's weird.
I might have something for you because I don't know if you heard Rich talk about my story from the other day, just like 3 days ago now. I believe it was. I heard when I was driving my semi, I was coming back from my stop, and all of a sudden I heard these sounds. It sounded like a buzzsaw, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it sounded like the buzzsaw was just across the highway from me. And it was actually louder than my semi, and I had the window down halfway. Other trucks were passing me along the other, side of the highway. They were going the opposite way. The sound was actually drowning out everything around me. It was so loud. And I have a clip of that audio too, if you want to.
Yeah.
I wonder if this is what you're talking about, because this is it's a real distinct sound. There you go.
That's close.
Let's see here.
Was that it?
Here, hang on. I think it went into Rick's thing here. No, hold on.
It's kind of hard to hear. I'm on my phone.
All right, you might hear the guy talking here for a little bit, and then you'll hear it. You hear it winding up?
Yeah.
I wake up to sounds in the middle of the night. It's about 7 o'clock in the morning right now. This is in Everett, Washington.
Yeah, it sounds metal.
Over there.
Yeah.
Over there looking to find something, and there's nothing over there. In fact, there's a wetland, and then on the other side of it, there's actually more wetlands. There's really nothing out there. This is the area between Snohomish and Everett, Washington. Close to the Lowell area.
Yeah, I'd love to submit this audio clip for analysis dark hour. This one's right on YouTube. I wish I had a. That's really the only thing I have. I wish I had my recorder out when I was driving past this thing. That is nothing compared to what I heard, but the only video I could find of that sound is this one. There's 2 videos of this sound, and it's of the same video. And all the other videos I found on YouTube as of now, and I've been looking constantly every day, this is the only one that comes close. I mean, it sounds like you're in a sawmill with like a 50-foot blade or 100-foot blade, and it's just, spinning, and it sounds like metal's being, scraped along something, and it's just the most hideous sound you've ever heard in your life.
Yeah.
And when I was driving past this sound, the louder it got, there was actually animals that were scurrying away from it, running across the highway, and all the animals that were running across the highway, they didn't make it because the cars are just running over them. And just before I got to the animals and the sound was getting louder, I could actually smell like buckets of blood. There were so many animals just splattered everywhere. Just from trying to get away from this sound. But it was the most hideous thing I've ever heard in my life. That Skinwalker sound that Wally and I heard in '93, that gave us goosebumps. But when I heard this thing, I don't know what it was, but it was just nuts, man. I mean, when I got to where the sound was the loudest, I almost just kind of shook. I'm like, oh my God, what the hell is that? And I just kept going. And then as the sound went away, I was looking at my phone. I'm like, shit, I should have recorded that. But that's what happens.
That's how. Well, the things I was talking about, you got to look it up sometime. It's got to still be there. It's like screams over Texas during a storm or something. And I've never heard anything like it. But what you're talking about is close. It sounded like a woman screaming, but like over a AC/DC concert, amps, but like up in the sky. I mean, it was nuts. And like in between her scream, or these screams, whatever it was,
right, there
would be. The guy in the video said off in the distance you could hear like this echoing like Indian chant, like but up in the sky. You know, you got to look it up, man. It's crazy.
Screams over Texas.
Mhm. And during a storm, you know, up in the, yeah, it's pretty wild.
Huh? Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Oh yeah, that's a good way of saying it, Chuck. Chuck Bam says sometimes powerful evil entities use deception and seem friendly, and they are very deceptive. They seem to bilocate their destruction of people and events. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
like you were
just
saying,
nuts.
the paranormal thing, you know, who knows what this stuff is, if it's
Yeah, you never know. I mean, I've heard of, like the ghost I have here that's been around with me for a while. It doesn't seem harmless, but yet it lets itself known. Like I'll be upstairs and I'll hear something move downstairs, or I'm down here, I'll hear some big bang upstairs,
yeah.
um, or I'll hear like I'll sit in the couch over here, and it's like I hear whispering right by my ear, just you
Hmm.
can't make out what it is. It's just nuts.
Right. I've never had a ghost experience myself, but my dad says that he has wooden floors at his house. He says that he hears my dead dog that's been dead for over a decade or so now. He still hears his claws scratching on the floor every now and then back in his bedroom. He would always scurry back there and lay under his bed. And then he says every now and then he hears that same noise back in the bedroom.
That's nuts.
I know. But that doesn't mean I don't believe in ghosts, because I mean there's been enough stories and people talking about it. But if you want to hear my non-Ouija board story, it kind of ties in with.
Yeah, let's go for it. We have a bunch of paranormal guys here too. I'm sure they'd love to hear it too.
Well, this is a long time before the UFO stuff. I was like 9, and my best friend and I were, I don't know what we were doing. We were watching TV, and we weren't interested in ghosts or anything like that, but we were watching TV, and I remember it had to have been like Unsolved Mysteries or something, but they were talking about how they wouldn't use a Ouija board, but they said how to build your own by just getting a napkin and writing letters and numbers and yes and no, and get a wine glass, and you can put your hands on turn the wine glass upside down, put your hands on the bottom of the glass, and it acts the same way as the thingamawopper. What is it called? The thing that moves on the Ouija board. Anyways, I don't remember the name of it. But, oh, my phone's doing something weird. Can you hear me? Can you hear me and see me?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Anyways, so we make this thing out of, we find a wine glass and a napkin and all that crap. We make this thing, and it works. And of course, like the old cliche goes, me and him were like, "Are you moving it? No, you're moving it." Blah, blah, blah. But so anyways, it's doing all this crap. We're asking it stuff. I don't know what we're asking. We're 9 years old. So we keep messing with this thing. I mean, like night after night at each other's houses. I mean, we pretty much lived with each other. We were best friends. We would stay at each other's houses all the time. And we got to where, like, if we didn't have a wine glass or a napkin, we would make this stuff out of anything. I mean, anybody can do this. I'm pretty sure. We got to where we were like just anything. I mean, like we would scratch on a table, on a piece of wood, and get a quarter and put our fingers on a quarter or anything, another piece of paper, and this thing would work. And so you don't have to have, you don't have to go out and buy Milton Bradley's little Ouija board for a Ouija board to work. That's it's not the cardboard and the plastic that works. It's whatever else this shit is. And
Yeah.
So we're messing with this thing for years. I mean, as long as we knew each other, and after a while, we started talking to the same person. And his name was Jodge. He would spell his name Joj, Jodge. Okay, it was the same person every night, every time we messed with this thing, and he was never. I say he. Jodge was never like doing weird shit in the house, making anything move. It was all focused in the Ouija things that we would make. And it wasn't mean, it wasn't saying weird stuff, bad stuff, you know. It was just kind of playful, really. I mean, we would ask it like stupid questions a little kid would ask, like, can we live forever, and it would say like, yeah, just go to your cabinet and get out some orange peels and some milk and some just telling us to make this crap elixir, and no, I don't remember the ingredients. You can't live forever, but so we're messing with this thing forever, always talking to Jod. Well, years and years go by, and when I was probably like 21 or 22, my girlfriend's friend was over and had her boyfriend there, and he's Muslim. And we were sitting there talking about stuff, and somehow we got into paranormal stuff. Mind you, I still didn't tell my UFO story because still I never even thought about it. I didn't think about it since that happened when I was 15 years old. But anyways, I still didn't tell the story because I didn't think I had one. But we were talking about paranormal stuff, blah, blah, blah. Got into Ouija boards, and I told him about our Ouija board stuff, me and my friend, and who we were talking to. And I said, Jodge, and my girlfriend's friend's boyfriend looked at me weird, like, Jodge? What do you mean? Like, you sure? How do you spell it? And I said, J. And he said, well, and the Bible, not the Bible, the Quran, there's like some crazy ass warlord from back in the day named Jodge. And why in the hell would 8, 9, 10-year-olds come up with the name Jodge on your own messing with the Ouija board? But here's this person named Jodge talking to us. So it wasn't the same person. I don't know.
That's weird.
Yeah. That's my Ouija board story.
Okay.
Have you ever messed with one?
What's that?
Have you ever messed with a Ouija board?
Yeah, I did once, and it's a pretty crazy story. I don't know if you guys want to hear about it or not.
Nah, I'll just do my stuff. Don't even talk. Nah. Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, well, we used to, back in high school, we knew this girl. We used to kind of hang out with her or whatever. Her parents lived behind me. They had a nice house with an in-ground pool and all that stuff. So we'd go over to her house and jump in the pool and all that, spend our summers kind of there and not or whatever. But one night her mom wanted to play the Ouija board, and it was me and this girl that I went to school with all my life. And so we said, all right, let's give it a shot. So we were playing the Ouija board and stuff, asking it questions, and all of a sudden it got really mean. And I forget honestly what it said, but it got really mean, and the planchette, it actually flew off the table, flew across the room. It broke one of her vases. The mom's vase fell down on the floor, broke, and it was a really expensive vase. And then she says, well, I'm just going to put this thing away, and she was a very animated lady, to say the least, but I won't get into that. But she basically put the thing in the box, took it outside in the garage, threw it in the garbage can. Okay. And so it was at the end of the night. I said, all right, well, I got to go. And then they went to bed. I went home. I got a call first thing in the morning, about 8 o'clock in the morning, and they, the girl called me up. She was scared to death, and I said, "What's the matter? What's the matter?" And she was just bawling her eyes out, nervous. I said, "What's going on?" And she says, "I woke up and the Ouija board was laying on top of me." She woke up, the Ouija board was laying on top of her under her covers.
What?
Yeah.
God.
So, so I don't know how you can explain that one.
Right.
But her dad was away on a business trip, and it was just her and her mom. And her mom was, if she gets pissed off about something, she'll throw it away or do whatever, and that's the last time you see it. That's how she is. She wouldn't play a joke like that at all.
Right.
She was very protective of her daughter.
Especially after it does that, breaks the vase, flies around, and
oh yeah, she was very pissed off. And I mean, Wally even knows who I'm talking about. And you know that lady, and she's not one to mess with when she gets mad.
No, she's not.
And yeah, so she woke up with the Ouija board laying on her stomach and all that, and that would freak the hell out of me. I'm sorry, but that would freak me out.
Jeez. Yeah, actually, at my dad's house where we did the Ouija board stuff, up in the he's repainted the whole house. But I just remembered this when you're talking about this. Up in the in my old bedroom at my parents' house, up in the closet, there was like a closet, and then up above that there was like these doors where it had another little attic type storage thing above the closet, but it wasn't a full on attic. It's just kind of like some cabinets up there. But it was big enough that me and my friend were able to climb up there and hang out in there when we were little. But we actually made this little Ouija board thing on the boards up there, like with Sharpies and shit,
Yeah.
I remember the last time I went over there, I was thinking about it. I was like, man, I wonder if that's still up there. And we go, I crawl up there. My dad has put all kinds of crap up there, storing stuff. And I crawl up there and kind of move everything around. And there's the Ouija board thing still written in Sharpie and all that stuff, still sitting there. And it had one of the little triangle pieces of napkin that me and him would use if we couldn't find anything to use. A little triangle piece of napkin that could slide on that wood was just sitting there still. My dad had all kinds of crap up there, so there's no reason why that should have still been there.
That's nuts.
But it was almost like it just wasn't moved at all, So, after that, I've never messed with one again, and I probably won't, just because it's so weird.
No, it's the last time I messed with that Ouija board was at that girl's house, and I haven't touched one since, and I'm honestly afraid to do it.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man. That's a weird one.
Yeah, it's crazy. Shoot. Yeah, I don't know, that homemade Ouija board, it sounds like it didn't want to leave, and it just stayed there.
Yeah, like people always say, you got to say goodbye. I'm pretty sure we never said goodbye. We used this thing hundreds of times. So
no, really,
who knows what the hell's following me around these days? That's probably why I have such bad luck.
You never know. I mean, you ever have your hairs on your arms stand up on end or anything like that, or your hair pulled or anything?
No, see that's the weird part. I was telling you, I've never personally had a ghost experience or seen shadow figures or hair pulled, nothing. I mean, I've just never seen one. It's not for a lack of believing. I just haven't had that experience, and
So here's a question I've never asked Wally before, I don't think, and after our UFO experience we had with that white light and all that stuff, did you ever, because I know I have, but have you ever had any paranormal experience, like with ghosts or anything being moved at your place?
Mine?
Yeah, like any ghost stuff happen or anything like that?
Well, when Pookie was alive, we both were walking towards the bathroom up here, and something moved in the bathroom. So she looked at me, and I'm looking at her, and I put my hands up, told her that I'm not doing it. I'm behind you, and then she walked really slow to the bathroom. Turned the light on in there, and she went in there right away. I looked, and I saw a candle that usually sits on the back of the toilet,
Mhm.
but that thing slid against the wall.
Just on its own?
Yep. And she looked at me after it moved, and I put my hands up and said, "Where's my hands?" I didn't touch it.
The Pookie's is his long-loved cat. Really cool cat.
So she looked at me, and I'm like, "Nope, I haven't touched nothing yet." Because I like to mess with her a lot when she was here. So
Yeah.
first thing she looked at was me when that happened.
But you didn't have any experiences before we saw that UFO light, whatever that was, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Over at Jason's dad's house in over in Wisconsin. I was telling his little brothers this thing that you look in the mirror and you say Bloody Mary like 3 times, and you're supposed to see an axe come on your head.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all 3 of them came running out of the bathroom, and I went and sat down on the chair, and the shade went up.
Hmm.
And I'm like, that's weird. And those 3 guys are accusing me of doing it by myself. But I swear to God, I did not touch that shade. I just sat in the chair, and up the shade went.
Nice.
And
Jeez,
that
we're
was the
talking
last
about
time
stuff.
and then Pookie, last time it happened was with Pookie. The thing moved in the back of the toilet, and then I'm like, that's weird because she heard it, and so did I at the same time.
Yeah. Did you have? I thought you had something else too. After that, like more. Didn't you have anything more recent? Okay. Chuck Bam. I don't know. What are you talking about, Chuck? He says. I bet that's why you've seen a UFO, Zach. But what did you say before that? I missed it. Yeah, Dark Hour says you always have to say goodbye after you do the Ouija board. He said, "Ask Rich why you do that." He just was talking about that the other day.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Because I remember him talking about it, and said you've always got to say goodbye. And I was thinking back on all that crap. I was like, oh my God, I never said goodbye once.
Yeah, bad. I've heard bad things can happen with that. I want to know what.
I think it depends on who you're talking to on the thing, I guess. But like I said, we were supposedly talking to a Middle Eastern warlord. Look up Jodge. It's actually GOG. But what made me think about the spelling difference is because you do pronounce it Jodge. And I think that if he wanted me and him to say his name properly, he would have said JOJ because we would have said Jodge. And if he said GOG, we would have said God or something. That's all I can think of. But
I know.
if it was the same person.
Now that I think about it, I did do the Ouija board a couple different times. The time before, because I know the one time with that girl was the last time I did it, but the time before that, the Ouija board kept saying my name, and then I'd say, "Who is this?" and then it'd just say G all the time. It would just go to G, G, G. I never knew what that meant, but it kept doing that, and we said goodbye, and then did that, and then the last time we did that thing over at the girl's house, it said that again. I said, "Who's in the room right here?" and then it said G, G. It was
Jeez.
the craziest thing.
Yeah.
So then then the mom, she was asking questions and it got all crazy, saying F you and a whole bunch of crap. So she says, I'm not having some paranormal bastard talk back to me and all this shit. She just went off. But yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I say I've never experienced ghosts or anything, but man, that Ouija board thing, that to me is about as close as you're gonna get to a ghost, man. I mean, that to me is just so mind blowing. I think the way Ouija boards work, man, if it's not just the collective subconscious of everyone involved being able to articulate and spell out all these things, if it's not just that, then it's something else, and whatever that something else is crazy. I mean, what is that? So to me, I think that merits a lot of investigation. I mean, I'm sure people do try to figure it out, man, but I mean, what the hell is that? What's moving that? Who is that? Where are they? I mean, there's something to that,
Right. Okay, I figured out what he says now. Chuck Bam says, I bet that's why you see a UFO, Zach, 100 times on the Ouija board. So, Chuck, you think that the Ouija board has something to do with contacting these UFOs? Yeah, I mean, it might be true, because I'm just trying to remember when Wally and I saw that light, if it was before or after I was playing with that Ouija board myself, but I can't remember. Goofar radio streams here. He says he loves Ouija boards. But you have to say goodbye. So that's the whole thing.
Yeah, but who made that rule? Milton Bradley?
I don't know. The thing is with that, what I don't understand is how can you be, 10 or 13 plus to use it? So you can summon the devil at 13 years old, but you can't buy a freaking pack of cigarettes until you're 18. I mean, what the hell? What's up with that? I don't get it. But yeah, so we got Goof on Radio Stream. He says, hi, Nathan. Yeah, so I don't know. It's just crazy stuff, man.
Yeah. I hope my story wasn't too...
the more you hear these stories, the more I think they're true, because the more they don't make sense is the more they seem, or the more real they seem. Sorry.
Oh, I know. And how so many of them can have the same elements, but they're so different. I mean, like mine, it has some elements that you'll see and hear and other stuff, but
yeah,
I've never heard of any story like mine. So there's got to be something to it. I don't think all these people would come forward with all these stories and stuff if there wasn't something to it. So
right.
I'm with you. And for me, of experiencing whatever that was, I mean, I'm 100% certain that it's real. So
right. Yeah, it's just insane. Now, Wally, I don't know. Have you ever messed with a Ouija board before? I don't remember you telling me about that or anything.
Oh yeah, right here in my room.
Have you?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of experience did you have with that?
Oh, it was kind of odd because I was controlling it myself, but one of the other kids were here doing that. And I had an airplane hanging up in here, and the kid said to whatever, make the airplane move. Thing started swinging back and forth, and there's no air getting in here because I think it was my birthday or something, and that's winter time.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no air getting in here, but that airplane kept swinging. Not sure why it was swinging for so long, but just kept moving.
That's crazy.
And I didn't have a ceiling fan in here either then.
Yeah, so I mean, like with ours, I mean, like I said, nothing in the rooms that we were ever in, anything around us never moved. The only thing that would ever move was the planchette, whatever planchette we happen to make, you know.
Yeah.
That was the only thing that would ever move. So I never had any experience outside of the weed board, you know, of anything moving or any sounds, anything, nothing, you know. But I always hear stories of people messing with them and like, you know, shit flying around or whatever, poltergeist, blah blah blah. But I
Right.
that just didn't happen to us.
Yeah.
I've never heard of anybody being able to do it by themselves either. So that's what always makes me think, like, is it just your collective subconscious somehow connecting, you know? I mean, via the spooky action, you know, quantum entanglement here. Are we doing that? But
Yeah.
since you can only do it, you know, with other people and you can't do it by yourself,
Yeah.
why is that? You know, why? You know?
I don't know. I don't even like, you know, I know people talk about different dimensions too, and I almost wonder if it's just different dimensions that are in the exact same time you're in, and they're almost like crossing the line over to your reality, you know,
Yeah.
where they can just kind of cross just a little bit and just kind of freak you out and say, "Hey, what you doing?"
Right.
You know, and then just kind of go back, kind of like an
No,
invisible wall type deal, you know. It's
that
crazy.
was-
But yeah,
like,
that,
you hear people talking about how, you know, they slipped into some weird place, you know, like you always hear stories about people going down the road and all of a sudden everything changes. It's like, looks like back in the 1700s or something, or they go into a store and, you know, it's open, they're buying stuff, and then they leave and it's, you know, they go back later and it's been shut down for 20 years, you know, he didn't go in there.
yeah,
Where did they go, you know?
yeah, no, that's crazy. Oh man. Well, I don't think I have anything else. Did you have any questions for us, Zach, at all, or?
When can I go to bed? No.
Well, go to bed now, man. We can call her a day.
Yeah, that's about it, man. Honestly, I'm pooped. I'm, like I said, I'm up like 4 hours past my bedtime.
Right. That's cool, man.
If you know, I've got to call it a night. I'm about to die over here. But
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, get some sleep. I know you work hard and good work and all that. So yeah, get your sleep, buddy.
Hope you like the story. It wasn't much, but
No,
tasty.
it's really cool. I do like that. Even after hearing the part about the guy I talked to with MUFON, his story was that he saw a plane flying backwards, which is beyond we can possibly dream of anyway. And then hearing your story with the plane just sitting there, you hear the sound like it's moving, but it's not. It's just sitting there. Makes me to believe that it's it's either your brain telling you, hey, this is what it's supposed to be, but it's not, or it's the alien tech that's actually, making you think this is a plane, but it's not. And they don't realize, well, a plane, it moves.
Right.
But maybe that was something they forgot to enter in their little computer or whatever. Oh, shit, we got to make this thing move. Hold on a minute. You know what I mean?
Man, I've gone over all the scenarios in my head. Trust me, I know. I mean, I've tried to figure it out, and the crappy thing is I will die never knowing. I don't think we'll ever know. Not, like all this disclosure crap, it'll never happen. I don't think we'll ever know. I don't think we'll ever know.
Yeah, no, I don't think so either. Like Wally and I don't think we'll know what the hell we saw. So it's just, you never know. Let's just see it again, but who's to say if the freaking camera will work? Even if you have a camera, you could have all the equipment in the world trying to catch this stuff, and you're not guaranteed you'll see everything.
Right. Or it'll look like dots and balloons, and that's it. So.
Yeah, it's nuts, man. All right, Zach, well, go ahead, hit the road, as they say, and get some sleep, and I'll catch you down the road.
Yeah, it was good talking to you guys.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming in. That was cool.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Well, I'll see you in the chats and stuff somewhere.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Take
right.
it easy, guys. Have a good night.
Good
You
night.
too.
Good
Good
night.
night. All right. Well, I think that's about that about wraps it up. I don't know. I don't really have anything else. I wanted to hear Zach's story, and that was pretty cool.
I believe him. I believe him.
Yeah,
Yep.
I did too. I mean, that's the thing. With Richie here, he's watching live. He debunks UFO videos, things like that, and I gotta hand it to him. I mean, that is a tough job. That's something very difficult to do with all this new technology they have, and they make programs to actually make uh, computer generated UFOs look real, and it's very difficult to debunk all that stuff to begin with. And then it's I almost view it as if somebody's got a really good story. It's kind of hard to, if you make something like that up, you could tell by how their movements are and stuff like that. How their body language is. And I think if one of these guys made a fake UFO video and they were explaining it, with the video, I think you'd see through them 100% that, yeah, this guy's
Yeah.
fake and the video's fake.
I think what he was seeing, I think he saw something up there. I think what he saw, they weren't. What was that? They weren't. They were more focused on him than they were his buddy.
Yeah.
And that's why he kept seeing that airplane-looking thing, and they're directed towards him and not his friend that was with him. That's why his friend couldn't see the plane, but that guy saw the plane and whatever it was, and they were just focused on him.
Mhm.
Just like what's following you is focused on you. That's kind of
Yeah.
weird because nothing's really happened to me around here since that one thing with Pookie.
Hmm.
And that was about it.
Yeah.
But something is focused on you and him.
Right.
Because you're
Beautiful.
seeing all this stuff. He's seeing all this stuff.
Yeah.
So whatever's out there is on you guys all the time.
Right.
I'm not sure what it is that's watching you, but
Yeah.
something is.
Something is. I don't know what it is, but it's something. That's for sure. Oh man, did you guys have any questions for us, or anybody want to jump on here and talk about something? I can go for a little bit longer. You guys can let me know in chat if you guys want to. If one of you guys want to jump on here.
So have you ever told your parents about what you saw
What time?
with the light in the sky?
Yeah, I told my mom. She just doesn't believe it at all. She doesn't believe in that stuff. I told my dad about the light that we saw, and he actually told me, when he was in Vietnam, that he was in a helicopter with a bunch of guys, and they come up over a hill, and he said he saw a UFO hovering right there on top of the hill, or just behind the hill, sorry, as they went over it. And he said if the pilot told all the guys in the chopper, he says if anybody says anything about this, you guys are going to get a bullet. So they couldn't
Damn.
mention anything. They couldn't mention anything when they got back. So that stayed with them his whole life. And I feel I can talk about it now because he passed 2 years ago. So, and I'm not in the military, so
Yep,
I
they can't do nothing about us.
Right,
We weren't there and we didn't see it.
right, yep,
We weren't even born yet.
yeah. But I know he was stationed in Okinawa. I don't know if you guys want to look that up, if you've heard anything about Okinawa UFO or something like that, but that's where he was. It's pretty crazy. I'm totally into this UFO stuff. I mean, I love Rich's show, watching, him try to debunk these videos and stuff like that. And I don't know, there's some stuff that just looks so fake. And then, I don't know, I'm always trying to find the stuff that I've seen personally. And I want to see Rich, debunk a video that's real, that I know is real because I've seen it before. And I want to watch him say, oh, that's fake all the way.
Yep.
Because I will argue with him till I'm blue in the face. I'll say, dude, no, that's exactly what I saw, and that's not fake, But I haven't seen it yet. I've been trying to look at these UFO videos and stuff ever since I was a kid, or not a kid, but 18 or whatever, 19, whenever the internet came out.
Yep.
And I've been watching damn near every video that's on here, and I haven't seen anything yet. So yeah, it's insane.
I was watching The Fresh Prince this morning when I woke up.
Yeah.
And Will goes to Carlton, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just looking at some stuff on the internet. And it was 1996 when this episode came out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when it came out, 1996.
Hmm.
When they saw some kind of internet thing happening. I'm like, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Kind of same with Married with Children too. They were Al was looking on the internet for a little bit.
Well, what's funny is the whole internet name to begin with. You know where the net name actually came from? Does anybody know? I'm just curious. Because this is an old reference that you'll know. You probably know it, Wally, that the net name, what I honestly feel where it came from is from Dukes of Hazzard. Is where Cooter would say, hey, anybody here on the Hazard net? Because he would call the CB radio talk, he would say Hazard net. And I think it actually spun off from that. I think it spun off from that. That's that's the only thing I can think of from back then. And 80, what was that, 82, 84, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
But he was the only one that actually said net after whatever. I guess it stuck somewhere, or it was just balloons. Who knows? I don't know. I'm not even watching chat here. But yeah, I don't know. It's crazy, man. Really nuts.
Oh yeah, everything's strange this year.
Yeah.
Everything.
Well, guys, Hazard is canceled. I know, right? What the hell? Thing that pisses me off about that is I'm a big, huge Dukes of Hazzard fan. I've watched it ever since I was a kid. The people that are bitching about the flags or the flag on the car is absolutely morons. They need to read a history book. But that's how I feel about that. Anyway, I think I'm gonna cut it off here, guys. I got nothing. I don't want to make the wife mad by busting out a voice box thing, so I guess we'll call her a night tonight and see if anybody wants to jump in next week and share us their UFO story. Try to read chat here real quick. All right, well, I guess we'll see you in your videos, guys.
All
Thanks for
righty.
showing up. Appreciate you coming on, Wally. Thank you very much.
And got something to say to you.
What's that?
Happy Father's Day.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yeah, happy Father's Day to everybody out there that are happy to be parents and all that stuff. Well, so all right, guys. Well, thank you very much for stopping by. I appreciate that. I hope you enjoyed the stream, and have a great weekend, guys. And I will catch you all later. Bye-bye.
Bye. And make sure someone cooks for you tomorrow.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Get some food in. Get your snacks. All right, thanks, guys.